Okay, so here we have the two wines. We've got the Jackson Estate Sauvignon Blanc under the natural cork on the left-hand side, and the Screwcap version on the right-hand side. So I'm just going to go through the process of opening these wines and then examine them to sort of see the difference between them. The benefit about this sort of experience is that very few of us get a chance to see how wines mature the same wine under both different types of closure. Now, for the record, I'm a researcher in alternative closures to natural cork, and frankly, it's not that I'm anti-cork per se. It's the fact that I am always looking for any closure that keeps wine in the way that the wine can mature beautifully, and the way that you can drink the wine as the winemaker intended. And at this particular time, corks were not regarded as the best closure around, and Screwcaps were taken on as the winemaker's prerogative to try and produce them, to try and keep the wine in the best condition possible. So you don't get much of an opportunity to have a look at such old wines under both closures. So I thought as a relatively rare event, this would be a good opportunity to share with the audience. So I'll start simply by opening the cork bottle. Let's see how that goes. It's a relatively quick and painless process. Not quite as easy as the Screwcap, but I mean the bottle opener's going relatively easy. It's not causing too much problem. Sometimes corks can, as they get older, they become difficult to extract, or they crack, or they bend or break, and that required a fair deal of careful attention. But no problem with the cork. You can see the cork's in pretty good condition. It hasn't allowed much absorption of any of the wine, and it smells fine. So you normally smell the cork to try and see if there are any faults or anything with the wine, but this actually looks pretty good. So thankfully, this wine's been stored well. It's been in John's personal cellar for the better part of 10 years. So I think that would explain why the cork's in pretty good condition. But that wine looks pretty good. Okay, screw cap. Hold the sleeve. Turn the bottle, and snap, off it comes. It smells fine too. So easier process, but essentially both initial reactions to the wine. The wine looks pretty good. You can see the wine has hardly dropped from the original level on that wine there, and on here it's filled up. It's filled up to about there. So I don't know if there were just higher fills on the screw cap, which is likely because that tended to be the case when this wine was first bottled. Or if this one's just lost a little bit of moisture through time. Hardly any seems to have gone into the cork, so it looks like it's been stored pretty well. So let's see how they look in the glass. Okay, two wines, and for all intents and purposes, they look pretty much the same. What we need is a white background. So So we need a white background, and here we go, we've got this one here. I can see the wine actually looks really clear, the wine under the cork looks really clear, light gold colour to it. It doesn't look like it's suffered much or anything in the way from its maturation process, and the one under the screw cap, pretty much identical. I mean, if I was a harsh critic, I'd probably say this one looks ever so marginally more brilliant, but quite frankly, I mean, you can see for yourself, there's really very little difference in the colour of those two wines. Okay, so next thing, give them a sniff. When you're swirling, although being left-handed, you get trained to do things right-handed, so it's easy to swirl them both at the same time. Smelling the aromas of both of these wines, they both smell really good. For Sauvignon Blanc, it's not normally a grape variety which is known for maturing. It's typically something that we tend to drink very fresh and when it's lively and really easy to appreciate. So, one with 9 years of age on it is quite a change. I'm not going to go through the process of talking about all the fruitiness characters. What I'm looking for is a wine, if there are differences between these two wines. And I mean, the wines both look pretty enticing. The difference is this one smells a little bit livelier. Not a great deal. I mean, they both look pretty close in character. This one smells just a little bit, I guess, richer is probably the better thing to say. It smells a touch more developed, and it's just that the wine seems a little bit different to this one. If you put these two wines together in a lineup, you could easily mistake the two for being the same, but you would probably, if you putting them together, you'd notice that there's just one or two little differences on the nose. Nose fitting something that magnificent. Yeah, it looks really good. That one does look really good. Lovely mouthfeel. It's starting to get a little bit of complexity to it. Aged Sauvignon Blanc's not something I'm particularly familiar with, so I don't know if this is typical or not, but the wine looks really good. But the Screwcap version just looks more lively. Both wines are really good. If you had one or the other in isolation, you could easily be forgiven for thinking that they were. If you had one or the other in isolation, you could easily think that these wines are excellent examples of wine from Jackson Estate. Putting them together, you just notice there's a little bit more freshness, a little bit more life in the wine in the Screwcap. The one under Cork looks really good. The Corks matured the wine well, but the fact is that the Screwcap in this case seems to have done a better job. In any case, that was my experience of seeing these two wines under Screw and under Cork, and with a bit of luck, I hope that should have shared some of the wisdom of why you could pick one closure over another.